the most important thing is really about selecting your partner. And we learn a lot in partnering with different people. And I also partner with other people, other investors outside syndication space. So I would say selecting your partner is absolutely the number one important thing to be very selective, to be very careful with who you partner with.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.
Lupei Chou is an active duty naval officer with 20 years of leadership, logistics, government contracting, and project management experience in the defense industry. Lupe, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine, Lupe. There's 3 questions I ask every guest who comes on the show in 90 seconds or less. Can you tell us, where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there?
All right. I started as a single family investor, actually, even going way back, my own rental property was, my own house became rental property as due to military moves. So that was my first experience as a landlord. I started in a single family space and moved to the multifamily. And sorry, what's the second and third question?
No, it's all good. Where did you start? Where are you now? And then how did you get there?
So how did I get there? Yeah. So what I learned was I don't make money in residential rental. It's very, very hard to make money. I had 6 units. And I can have a repair issue, maintenance issue, wipe out the profit for the whole entire year very quickly, very easily. So that's why we gotta go bigger, have more units.
So what do you guys own? What's your portfolio look like today?
So currently, my partner and I, we focus on Texas and Georgia. Those are our 2 primary markets, Atlanta, and there are a few places in Texas we are working on. But yeah, and we have closed 2 syndications. But all of us started in the residential space before becoming syndicators.
Got it. Yeah. So you got involved in syndication, said, hey, I'm going to do multifamily real estate. I guess, tell me about those projects and why you picked those in particular. Maybe even tell me when. Like, give me some kind of some color to those projects and how you got those across the finish line.
Really, our first project, we were co-sponsors. We really just joined another team for experience and help with the race. But we also have experience in small multi, all of us, the 3 of us, me and my partners. So we just want to move on to a bigger properties because, as you know, right, like you and all your friends and people run out of money at some point. You have to be able to tap into the bigger investor pool and be able to raise.
How have you done that? Let's talk about that for a second. Going out and finding a bigger investor pool. What's been some effective strategies you've employed to do that?
I think everybody started out with maybe their social media, and that's what I did too. I started sharing my story, just make a post about what I'm doing. That worked well, I think, in the beginning, just to get the words out, let people know what you're doing. And I did have a lot of friends, even friends I haven't talked to in a number of years, reaching out to me, just interested or curious.
That's great. So you guys had your first project you went into as a co-sponsor. What have been some things you've learned in going into a project as a co-sponsor? And maybe are there things that you would have done differently, or things that you said, hey, we did this really well the first time through?
I think that the most important thing is really about selecting your partner. And we learn a lot in partnering with different people. And I also partner with other people, other investors outside syndication space. So I would say selecting your partner is absolutely the number one important thing to be very selective, to be very careful with who you partner with.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else come to mind on that front as you review the tape and said, okay, we did this, on our first co-sponsored deal. Being selective of your partner, yes, that's number one. Anything else come to mind that you'd say these are some things that maybe I would do differently the next time around?
I think other than that, you want to have complementary skills, because people bring in different skill set to a table, right? And sometimes you just don't really have the right skill set mix, and it kind of makes property management very difficult, because once you're closed and you are together for the next 3 to 5 years, so running the property and taking care of it and make sure it's profitable, it will be a lot easier when you have the right skill set, a group of people. That's another thing we also learned.
Absolutely. So you close your first project as a co-sponsor. Your second project, did you do on your own, or was that also as a co-sponsorship model?
We also did as a co-sponsor, but we were a lot more involved on the second time, which is really, I think I didn't really understand a lot of the things when it comes to asset management. And I've learned a lot in that second project, because we did have some issues with asset management and property management company. We fired a number of companies, and just trying to, get that right. We're still working through some issues, but yeah.
Is this asset harder in particular to manage? Was there something about the asset that has caused you guys to go through so many different property managers?
I think it's just a smaller asset. It's 60 units, and
Mm,
certain companies, they don't really want to take on that property.
right.
Maybe too small for their portfolio, but it's, yeah. So that's something I also realized. Okay, the size, right? The size matters.
Yeah. No, it undoubtedly does. And that's something that, who was it I was talking to here recently? They were saying, "Oh, we were talking to a lender." And he said, "Get in front of the lenders in this particular asset class and really figure out what and how they underwrite and how they view deals, because that's going to give you a lot of color as to what you should be looking out for." And I think the same thing maybe applies here, where it's like, hey, there's 60 units, the bigger shops don't want to deal with it. And there's a
Yeah.
reason.
So yeah, so that's being a challenge. I think the size is kind of like not too small, not too big. It's kind of in the middle. Um, yeah. But we are plugging away. We just continue, we're searching the right fit to, help with the property management.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean that'll be a challenge when you get to a 60 unit property. It's like, well, getting a competent property manager in there to run that for you could be potentially tough. Tell me this, you're still full-time military, is that correct?
I am, yeah.
Wow. How do you balance your real estate investing with working full-time?
So that really comes down to partnership. I do have two partners that we work very closely together, and you really just kind of like make sure all bases covered. I, of course, do things in the evenings, on weekends, and whatever I can during the day, but really I rely on my partners to take care of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, very, very good. Any advice that you would give to people as they're looking to transition out of their job and get into real estate? Anything you'd give there as advice?
So my background is military. I'm, of course, my approach is more on the conservative side, right? I really think, that transition is important to really make sure you're in a good place. I have seen people quit their jobs and ended up having to go back to their jobs or getting another job, right? Because the real estate, especially as a new investors, it can be very unstable, a lot of ups and downs. Maybe you're making money this year, but that's not too proud, to say you're gonna make money next year. So to me, I think it's important to make sure, you have all the bills covered and, like safety fund, all that stuff set up before quitting. It's very exciting, and I have made good money, in deals, and it almost make you think, oh my God, I want to just quit. But yeah, be
But
careful.
do it thoughtfully. Do it thoughtfully. Yeah, there's absolutely some wisdom in that. When looking forward, like looking to your future in real estate, what do you want that to look like, and how do you plan on getting there?
I'm finishing up my military career here very soon, the next year or two. At that point, I want to be fully devoted and focused on my business, the real estate, and just be more hands-on and really learn the ins and outs. I mean, I feel like I'm learning now, but really not at the level I want to. So that's what I want to do, and continue grow the portfolio. And I'm very interested on development and maybe dive into that. That's
Got
my
it.
goal.
I love it. I love it. Lupe, thank you for taking the time here to come on the show today. Certainly learned a lot from you. I loved hearing your entrance into commercial real estate. And yeah, you've taken the similar journey to us all in that it's like, and I still have, I do still have some legacy single family stuff in my portfolio that I just have not ever divested of. And I will tell you, it's always a little bit of a disappointment when the phone rings and you're like, oh crud, now what?
I get nervous when my property manager called me because there's no good news when he calls.
Never, no. And so I've actually taken the drastic kind of burn the boats route and have owner financed a lot of those properties off to the existing tenants. It's just like, it's not worth the mental strain, that it puts on, where it's like, okay, like I don't have any desire. I don't care if I sell it at a minor loss. It's just got to go. Get out of my head. So I hear you.
Absolutely.
But you've taken that transition from commercial or from single family and said, okay, we learned our lessons the hard way. Now we're going to go into commercial real estate. Doing the co-sponsor model in the beginning is a great way to learn. And it sounds like it's an iterative process too, even for you. I think in that did your first project and the second one around, you've been way more involved. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I love seeing that as as you transition through that process and how you are scaling your commercial real estate holdings. So certainly thank you for taking the time to come on the show today. If our listeners want to get in touch with you and learn more about you, what is the best way to do that?
Yeah. So you can find me on LinkedIn, IG, Facebook under my name, Lupei Chou. Our company page is Crown Capital. That's crowncapitalcorp.com. So check us out.
Fantastic. That's Crown Capital Corp, CORP, crowncapitalcorp.com. And Lupei Chou is LUPEICHOU. Lupe, thank you for taking the time to come on.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
Hey, thanks for listening to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate podcast. If you can do me a favor and subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever platform it is you use to listen, if you can do that for us, that would be a fantastic help to the show. It helps us both attract new listeners as well as rank higher on those directories. So appreciate you listening. Thanks so much and hope to catch you on the next episode.